It's not a part of the overall salary adjustment consideration. No fire employees.
Okay, so that's in the budget. That red line
Correct.
down at the bottom is in the budget.
Yes.
And that's 157, it's almost 158,000.
Yep.
Correct.
Let's go on.
Okay. The next slide, the interim city manager is also recommending a one-time bonus for the sworn officers based on the years of service. And that overall cost is $84,204. And the table below basically shows how we came up with the cost and how it would be allocated. And the overall total cost of considerations that are not funded is $679,844.
So just out of curiosity, why are we seeing these slides for the first time tonight?
We're just giving you a brief overview.
Right.
And
this is kind of an overview. And go on, Athea.
No, go ahead. Your budget, I'm letting you go.
Okay, this is an overview and things that we would like to be taken into consideration. And it's kind of an education of where our tax dollars are going now. So we just like to take these in consideration after everything is said and done.
But why not put all the cards on the table? I mean, we got our packets electronically several days ago. Why? I mean, my next question will be, well, what other things are there coming that I may not know about? I'm sorry, I'm a little upset about this, to be honest with you, that I felt coming into this meeting, I had a certain picture of what the budget was and what the state of our city was. And now I come into the picture and I find that what I've gotten several days in advance that I've been reviewing isn't really a true reflection of the situation. And I'm sorry to be hard, but I got to tell it like it is, guys. I'm disappointed.
There's really not anything else that's going into the budget, but these are options that we are presenting. And we didn't want to put them in the budget and have to back them out. So these are just options that we are putting before the mayor and council as a proposal for the employees.
Yeah, but there are certainly options that I'd like to take. You know, I mean, it's really hard. Anyhow, okay, all right. These I can see. The table of organization probably bothers me a lot more than these slides. These are valid options that you can say, well, you could have assumed that we weren't going to give an increase this year, and that's understandable given the situation. But if you want to consider it, here's what we could do. But the table of organization, boy, that just leaves me.
The table of, I'm sorry, Councilman Gay, go ahead.
Well, I just have two comments. Since I've been on council, what I've noticed has been the process during budget is these recommendations are generally made after we see the true picture. Then we discuss them. That's what I've been familiar with saying. The second thing is that if we're going to propose a increase to police one-time bonus, what about other departments that are saying that they deserve the same amount of increase? So I guess I'm trying, where's the science behind these recommendations? It's two questions.
Well, right now we're trying to keep an incentive to hold on to our officers. Right now we know that our pay is not, I guess, comparable to other cities. So we're getting our seasoned officers a one-time bonus for staying around and for just giving them the consideration of some type of advancement or some type of consideration for being faithful to the city of College Park, because our salaries are generally about $6,000 less than most of the salaries around the surrounding areas.
But you told us at the beginning of the presentation that public safety represent a considerable amount of our budget before these considerations. But I guess what I'm saying is, for me, other departments are as essential in running a city as public safety. If we have this much budgeted already, I just would like for us to also consider other departments who are coming to me with these same concerns about their bonuses and all of that, okay?
Understood. We're just trying to be competitive and hold on to the officers that we have. So we're just being competitive in the market. But I understand.
Go right ahead, Ms. Ford
Althea?
Bradley.
I thought you had a question about the schedule, Mayor. I thought you were going to make a comment about the schedule.
I think it's been covered. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thanks. All right, the next slide, before the final slide, I just want to remind everyone of the remaining budget workshops. So I listed the meeting schedule. And the last slide is any questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I'd like to go back to the packet information that we got, because I have a number of questions on that. And starting with the first page of the summary schedules and charts.
What page are you on?
It doesn't have a number. It's called Citywide Revenue Summary.
Yes.
It's
I
the
can go
first
back to
one in
that
our
page.
packet of behind the heading Summary Schedules and Charts.
Okay, so that is digital page 9.
Okay, let me see if I can.
That's
Are you
correct.
referring to this
Thank
one
you.
here on the screen?
Yeah, the intergovernmental revenue. Would you refresh me what's in intergovernmental revenue?
The American Rescue Plan
That's
Act.
the American Rescue Plan. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
And the year before that, the 640 is the CARES Act.
the CARES Act. Okay, good. And transfers in, that is the transfers between funds.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if we go down to the second block, the hospitality fund, you really believe it is going to generate 11 million in revenue?
Yes, I'm going by the projections of Ed Wall. I did speak with him and he is projecting about 8.4 million. The remaining tax revenue will come from the millage rates for the special district tax. So that's a guarantee as far as the I would have to go to the budget. I think it's about 2.5, I think it's about 2.9 million that we would generate from the special district tax.
Okay, and the car rental tax fund.
Yes,
I
sir.
thought we weren't expecting anything from car rental tax until the next fiscal year. Not the one coming up, not the one we're budgeting for.
You're referring to 2022, December 2022. Again, I did speak with Ed Wall and he is projecting that we would bring about that $2 million.
But
Not quite hit the 3.2 million. But go ahead.
I'm sorry, but
It says
that's
$4.5
million, right?
Correct.
Or almost 4.6. So
there's about $2 million in reserves.
That's dependent on our agreement with Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's including the reserves that we have in the fund.
Yes, if you look at your funds flow chart, Councilman Clay, at the end of fiscal year 2021, I'm projecting we'll have about $2 million remaining. And when you go through the car rental tax budget under revenue, you will see the breakdown of where I'm projecting the revenue sources.
Okay, well, we're not there. I mean, that won't be reviewed tonight in detail, right? Yeah.
Yes, but 2 million of that is
I
from
understand.
carry forwards.
I'm jumping the gun. I was expecting that number to be zero. And well, not zero. I was expecting it to be about as I recall, something like 300,000, which is a separate arrangement that we made with Atlanta.
About
It
400,000.
would be about 4.2 plus another 3, which would have made it 4.5. And so I was expecting the 0.3, but I wasn't expecting the 4.2. And well, I sure hope we're right about that. That's a lot of money. And
Well, this reflects that, I mean, if you look at 2020 fiscal year to 21, it reflects a loss in that fund.
Yes.
The net on that is
Well,
only about 300,000.
well, no, because
Okay.
we're utilizing, because it's about, at the end of fiscal year 2020, there's about $6 million of car rental tax fund balance. So we're using about 4 million of that fund balance in 2021, which will leave about 2 million that we'll use for 2022. And we're projecting we get about 2 million of that 3.2 million. We hope we get at least 2 million and not more. So,
but you had a budget carry forward that
yes, sir.
was, as I recall, I don't remember now where I saw it. Yeah, here it is on the funds flow spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
It was $2.3 million, not
Yes.
anywhere near 4 or 5.
Correct. We are projecting there will be about $2 million that does come in from car rental tax.
I thought it was a thresholded thing. Well, maybe we may be going through too much detail right now.
The IGA gives the city of
ahead.
Atlanta the first approximately 8.8 million, and then
Yeah.
then we
So-
get the next 3.2. Is that right?
Whatever we're over, like this year we receive 180,000.
We got 180,000 this year because there was only about 9 point whatever in there.
And we really think the rental car is going to go up to what, 13 million or so we can get our 4.2?
We're not estimating 4.2. We're only estimating 2. The other 2 million is
Oh,
from
the other 2 is
the
coming from
fund
carry
balance
forward.
carry forwards. Correct.
Okay, it just happens to be about the same amount. All right.
It just worked out that way. Yes, sir.
Okay.
One quick,
Well, I'm not going to hold my breath, but
one quick question. The charges for service, is that where it's gone up to 64 million? Is that
That's primarily your utility service
utility
fees. Yeah.
increase? Yeah, okay.
Well, yes. Yeah. It's not an increase because the budget doesn't take into consideration a fee increase. It's just what they're projecting overall with the new services.
well,
Oh,
we're
that's just
getting
new services,
$9 million.
not that.
Hold on.
It's the
Hold on,
new
wait.
services.
All right.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people talking. Councilman Allen.
I would just say, you said that's new service. That's not based on the increase that we just made this past year?
No, because the increase is already reflected in 2021. So therefore, that's probably new services that we've received from new hotels, things of that nature. That's why you probably see the increase. But
Well,
it's not
2021 jumped up and then, it's.
Yes.
Yeah.
2021 is the result of the fee increase, but
Right, and the
2022.
64 is, okay. I'm
Yes,
looking,
sir.
comparing it to 4, okay.
Okay, Councilman Clay.
Yeah, we've got $9 million more in the budget thanks to 30 megawatts of service that's going in down on Godby Road. 9 million, guys. We've got more revenue coming in from power than we do from anything else.
Any other questions?
Other questions? I'm sorry, Mayor. Let me just check. I think that one I already asked before, and I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Miller, anything else?
Nope, that's it for now. We will be moving on to our first department meeting.
All right.
I got one more question. The golf course expenses, are we considering the amount of money it's going to take to pay for the extra holes we're going to have to build?
No. The
Yeah.
budget does not reflect.
Okay.
Oh, Ken, I'm glad you brought that up because we've got money in there for the golf course. I guess that's in the next budget session, isn't it? But we've got money in there for that I'm wondering about if we're closing down the golf course to move those holes around. How are we going to make as much money as we think we're going to make? But this may not be the right time to ask that question.
Yeah, let's hold off on that
Okay.
discussion for now.
Okay.
And so let's go to, sorry.
Our first department tonight would be the FAA.
All right.
Let me see. I'm going to bring up what we are reviewing so that the public can see it as well. Please give me a second.
So we're skipping the general fund revenues actual budget worksheets.
Do you have any questions on this?
I do.
All right. Well, let's go back then.
On page 1 of 3 for the general fund.
What is do you have the digital page?
Digital page is 22.
All right. Thank you.
Is this the revenue or expenses?
This
This
is
is
revenue,
revenue.
line 31, 1100. Ad valorem taxes. Why? Oh, I think I just answered my own question. I would have projected it higher than 10,100,000, but it's not linear, is it? Never mind. Scratch that question. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I guess not. I'll
Okay.
skip.
All right. We'll move on to the FAA.
Hello, Ron Wickerson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you have the floor.
Okay, well, did you want me to just go down each chart of account or how do you want to do it?
Well,
No, we don't want that.
No, most of the council has had an opportunity to look at your budget. And first thing we'd like to know if they have any questions.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Wilkerson?
I have no questions for Ron.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Wilkerson? Hearing none, let's move on to the next department. Thank you, Mr. Wilkerson.
You're more than welcome. Good
You
evening.
got off easy tonight.
I did. Thank you, Jesus. Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ron. The next department would be legislative and executive.
Any questions on the legislative side?
Yes, on
All right.
digital 55 or 1 of 3 for expense.
Okay. What line are you on?
I'm on a series of lines under communications. And there's a whole series of lines, heat and power, water, and other communications. They're all reduced to 0. I assume that means they're accounted somewhere else.
Exactly.
Did you say executive?
General fund legislative.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I heard Ms. Miller say executive.
Now they're broken out into all different departments that are in the city. So if you go to executive and a couple others, you'll see where it's broken out.
He's referring to legislative. There's none budgeted for legislative,
Right.
and there should be. So that's I don't know how we missed that. There should be a budget there for those line items. We missed that.
Okay. Can't be too big. Now I had a question. It's actually a more personal question since it relates to my discretionary balance for Ward 1. 2 years ago, I had about $15,000 in my discretionary because of discretionary that I had not spent. And because I don't have a lot of events, and I've hung on to that discretionary money in case we ever got into a situation where I needed to put in a camera somewhere, for example. You heard Mr. Reggie Wilkins the other night at the council meeting indicating that he hadn't gotten cameras and he hadn't gotten a stoplight and several other things. And well, I have enough money, or had enough money at one time in discretionary in order to, I could have just funded a camera. And that's a choice on my part, rather than doing that, rather than having a, I don't know, some kind of award party or whatever that other people might choose to do. And that money has all evaporated. Is there any opportunity to get some of that money back? Because Mr. Wilkins would like a camera. He made that clear the other night. And he also made the fact that he might like a stoplight or something there. So, but that's not in there. I'm just, are we going to do a rollover? I guess that's where I'm a long-winded way to say, are we going to do a rollover like we've done in the past or not?
I thought that our discussion last year was that we would not roll over because of the budgetary situation.
Well, that was last year.
Yes, that is last year. You are correct.
This is this year.
Yes.
Would you like to see it roll over this year? That's at the discretion of mayor and council.
I'm only one vote, but I'd like to get my 15,000 back.
I don't have a
I'm gonna ask for the
problem. I don't have a
camera, by the
problem.
way.
Wait, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Councilman Allen?
I was gonna say, I don't have a problem either way. I don't think I have anything to roll over, but
It looks like all four of you have something to roll over. But
Yes.
It's up to the body.
how much money are we talking about for everyone?
It looks like
I mean, just the total number.
it appears to be.
For
Looks
you
like about
see it, Mayor?
11.
Oh,
It looks. I mean, roughly about $11,000 for the four of you. That's a quick rounding and adding.
I mean, that would be good to see it rolled over. I might take some money and have a picnic for the Public Works, Fire, Police Department, other departments.
Sounds like we got 2 votes.
I'm okay with it rolling over.
Yeah, roll it over.
Okay. All right. Any other
Are there
questions? I'm sorry, Councilman Gay?
That rollover is effective when the fiscal year budget starts? Ms. Miller?
yes, sir.
So right now,
You-
you've got about $3,400 left in your discretionary. So you would look at about $8,400 come July 1st, if you didn't spend anything else.
Got it.
I'm sorry, for clarity, that was
Okay.
consensus,
so
right?
Yes, there is consensus
Okay, thank
to roll over.
okay, thank you.
Is that good for the gander as well? Do I roll over?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I would think so.
All right.
We're all in this together, Mayor.
Fair enough. All right. Any other questions on that page?
Not on that one.
Okay. Moving along.
My next one is on Digital 58 or 1 of 4 for the breakout of the expenses. the budget transaction portion.
Yes, sir.
So if we go down to the second block, which is telephone, I look at that and I see Verizon data plan, Verizon wireless, Windstream. So my first question is, what is Windstream for?
We talked about this last year. I think Mr. Hicks can answer. That's for telephone, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Windstream is our bandwidth provider that we spread across all departments.
Oh, I understand. I understand that. What I don't understand is the fact that there are in legislative, there are at least 4 council people, and they, with the exception of myself, they all have wireless plans
That's true.
and data plans and iPhones and iPads and laptops, and I don't see any of that in here.
Mr. Hicks?
Well, we're not charging for the laptops, or those iPads. We normally put in your data plan for your wireless, your cell phones, your desktop phones. We don't put your PCs in here.
Okay, well, so my question would be Verizon data plan. You've got 3 council people times 12 months, should be 36, not 12, I would think.
Althea, can we make this larger so I can see it, please? Just as a side note, we've done a tremendous amount of work of straightening up this Verizon, Windstream, and AT&T bill. We probably cut off 200 numbers.
Councilman Clay?
How
I
many?
think
At least 200. We cut off quite a few numbers that we weren't using that belong to different departments. We cut them off, and if people didn't scream in 30 days, we left them off for good.
Councilman Clay, I think when they have the data plan, it's the 12 people, which is the 2 receptionists, the information business liaison, the deputy city clerk, the clerk, and the executive assistant, and the mayor and council. When they count 12, I think they're including those.
So
I'm not included in that.
No.
In the past, 12 has always been the number of months. Now it may be, I mean, phone service for 1 month is very easily, well, I'm looking at Windstream.
Right. I think that is for,
I don't know.
If you look at the Verizon data plan, that's 12 units at $473. So that would make sense in terms of that 473 being the yearly amount for 12
months.
plans at 5676.
So you think that number, Mayor, just happens to work out to 12?
No, I think for instance, line for the Verizon data plan, it's $473. That looks like a yearly cost for 12 data plans. So that total would be $5,676. Am I looking at that correctly?
It's either that for a year for 12 people, or it's that per month times 12 months.
Right.
It's one of those two.
I think
that's exactly what I was thinking, Ken, that it was the latter, that it was.
And I think it's actually the former, is that to get one person for data for the year, it costs $473. And we've got 12 people.
No.
Whoops. Sorry. Never mind. Go ahead.
The 473 is collectively the cost for, I guess, everyone that has a data plan, and the 12 months is for the year.
The number of units is years. Is months.
Okay.
Yes, the
So
months.
the 12 is 12 months.
And it's $473 a month
Ah, okay.
for the collective.
Okay.
So every year, every month for 12 people, we pay $473
Right.
No.
for Verizon
Well,
data.
whoever, I don't know how many people are actually on the Verizon
Oh, I'm
data
sorry.
plan.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's for those that are on the Verizon data plan. The total cost per month is $473 for 12 months. The
Understood.
12 represents the number of months for the year.
All right. Are we all clear on that?
Yep. I
All
think
right.
Let's
Great.
go. We beat
I-
that to death.
Councilman Gay?
Sure. I forgot to ask this when we was on our discretionary, but are we going to have any allowance for travel? I noticed GMA is going back live this year. Is there any travel budget for conference?
Yes, that is it's on digital page 56 at the top, training and education. It's $5,000.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We're covered for that, Roger.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Any
Good
other
here.
questions in legislative? All right, hearing none. We'll go ahead and move on. I believe executive is next. Is that right? Yes.
Exactly.
Any questions in executive?
I had one on digital page 78,
Okay.
which is 1 of 5 for general fund. If I go down to line 52, 5280, what is other communications?
$52, $52, $80 other communications.
Yeah.
Pitney Bow. Other communication.
No, that's other equipment rental. For Ms. Ross, can you answer that? This is for the executive schedule. Is that just a miscellaneous cost?
I think so, Thea. It's got to be a fixed miscellaneous cost because
Okay,
we don't give a description to it.
okay.
Yeah, related to utilities, it's a fixed cost.
Okay, the reason I when I sent my heads up email, I had an arrow going between that and Windstream, and we know what Windstream is. It's just an allocation across the other organization.
Mhm.
So maybe this is just an allocation across all organizations too then.
Okay.
Okay, good. Just wondered.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Oh,
Just for clarity's sake, we are rolling over discretionary, not travel, correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Moving along. Any other questions in executive?
Okay, we're moving on to business license and business license. Shavela?
Any questions?
That's-
It's a pretty straightforward one.
I have no
Uh,
questions on business license.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Our next department.
Financial administration.
Oh boy, I think we've got the person on the phone for that one.
can we go back just a second? I'm sorry, Shavela. I have just one question I had noted here and I just saw it.
Councilman Allen, what digital page are you on, or what page
I'm
are you
on page 1 of 2 in the business licenses, R&M DP equipment.
Email license.
730,
Newcast,
and I was
yes.
just wondering what that was.
Email
There-
license, minicast, online business license porter, and Tyler Northwest.
Okay,
Tyler,
because
no,
it
New
was
World.
around
New
2,000 or
World.
3,000 in the past, and now it's 23,000. I was just wondering.
They have a
The-
new
the
online,
20
yeah. Go ahead, Shavela.
No, I was just gonna say the 20,000 that we put in there is for the new online business license portal that we are trying to implement along with the other departments that require the online portal, like permits and inspections and all the planning and zoning. So.
Okay, good. That was the only question I had.
All right. So we are on to financial administration. Any questions for Ms. Forlord Bradley in this department?
Good.
Okay. What happened to telephone there?
Most of the staff during COVID, we all received cell phones. It was about, I think about 7 or 8 cell phones.
Got it. All right. Any other questions in financial administration? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Okay,
Our
we're
next
at the accounting
accounting.
department.
Yep.
Still here.
Any questions for Ms. Floyd Bradley in this department? Those cell phones again. There's a, can you talk a little bit about digital page 133, contractual services?
We do contract with and not an agency, but professionals that come in and assist us during the audit process to help us get some papers, some audit work papers updated and completed for the auditors to come in.
Well, it looks like we went way over what we were, I mean, what we spent in 2020 on that, and
2020.
I mean, our 2021 actual amounts almost $40,000. So is 20,000 going to be?
No, that's if it should be offset by personnel costs.
Okay.
Personnel costs should be less as well because that would include our temp agencies. So if it's an increase there, there will be a reduction in personnel for vacant positions.
Well, then I have a question.
Go ahead.
On the page 1 of 2, I'm just looking at the hard copy. Salary and part-time, 50/30. Department head requested 49,000. It's been 49. It was 13 this year, and now all of a sudden it's going to be 0.
Yes, because I'm requesting that we
get rid of the 2 part-time and
make it whole.
Full-time.
Yes,
make one
that's
full-time.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, we will move on to the next department, Human Resources. Dr. Baker is probably on the line for that one. There he is.
You're
Good
really
evening.
low.
Yes.
Speak up, Dr. Baker. Turn your sound up.
It's not great. Can you get closer to your microphone?
Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I just pull in.
Yes.
All right. Any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Baker?
Well, Mayor, I had on several line items, there are some big increases, but I just assumed, and so I didn't put a question on it. I just assumed that we hadn't been doing that, given the situation in the department, the turnover in the department, the COVID situation. So I didn't even think it would be worth asking the question.
I had the same thing on the convention meetings and the dues. I figured it was just, just catching up and getting back where we should be.
Exactly.
Dr. Baker,
consulting fees. What?
I'm closer.
55.
Which line?
525510. You said consulting fees, you're looking at around 330,000, 302,000.
That is correct. That includes our brokerage fees for the new broker. I'm looking to bring to the board, the council, on the April 19th meeting. We bid out payroll services, which comes up to about $65,000 per year. I included also the executive search firm if we decide to move forward with hiring a city manager, and along with the other things listed, the ethics program, FLA tracking system, our EAP program, a wellness program, and a language interpreter, which is basically if we have individuals that do not speak English, we can call it an interpreter, and they can interpret the call over the phone.
Now, those are all things I think we pretty much agreed to.
Yeah. Workman's comp, you expect it to go up to 87,000?
That Georgia Board of Form WC-26 is a consolidated yearly amount that we are expected to pay. We haven't been paying that in the past, but that's an estimated yearly amount, budgeted amount.
But the fact that we haven't been paying it doesn't mean that we should have been paying it. It just means we haven't been paying it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Because I noted the difference too, but I just assumed it was okay.
Any other questions for Dr. Baker?
Well, the last thing down here on the very bottom, it says food and dietary supplies, 1,500. I mean, it's not much money, but food and dietary supplies, I didn't know what that was.
Onboarding, we are still conducting onboarding, and we're doing it social distancing in public. So that's just to offer the new hires some refreshments during that onboarding experience.
Okay.
Seems reasonable. We would offer someone a bottle of water while they were on board.
Oh, yeah.
Water, maybe some donuts or.
Oh yeah, I have no problems with that at all.
Sure. Councilman Gay?
Yes. Can we go back to the consultant fee, and can somebody show me what we paid last year compared to the 300,000 that he budgeted, please? The broker.
The broker fee was paid by Kaiser. It was about 230,000, I think it was. It was paid directly by Kaiser. It was nothing we budgeted. So we basically paid through it with the fee with our premium, insurance premiums.
So let me ask you this. We don't know what our premium is going to be. So if our premiums stay the same or even increase, then we have an additional $300,000 increase?
No, it's 160,000 is the broker services fee. And what we paid, what Kaiser paid to the current broker was about 230,000.
So Ms. Floyd Bradley, would that indicate that the number that we need to look at is the premiums that we pay?
Exactly. Once we get those numbers.
You have to add the two together.
Right.
Correct.
That's what it boils down to. And Councilman Gay is absolutely right that it was all included in Kaiser's fee before.
Yep.
Now that was pulled out, and we need to add them together again just to see whether we're actually doing better with the new broker than with the old broker.
Correct.
Ms. Miller, Ms. Dr. Baker, Ms. Miller, can we track that? Because I'll be very concerned that we're gonna pay more money when the goal was I thought one of the goals was to save money.
Yes, sir. We can definitely track that.
As I recall, one of the comments we made was that they thought we were going to get, I want to say $1 million, and that doesn't, I'm not sure that tracks right. That we already could anticipate that kind of savings, and that would well pay for everything else, even if the fees went up a bit. So I'm like Councilman Gay. I'm just waiting to see how it shakes out.
Okay. We will keep track of that.
Council, the broker will be coming before you on the 19th to give you our new renewal and analysis as it relates to putting those line items of coverage out to bid.
Great, thank you.
I have one more question, and first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for all the new programs you've put in, Dr. Baker. It's been refreshing to see all the new ideas, the new thoughts that you're putting out there, and the programs that you have going. The question that I have is, do you foresee that we're going to need to add any people or part-time people or interns to help with some of these programs?
I welcome the help. We definitely need it.
As an intern or as a part-time or as?
Perhaps all of the above, but right now I would like to start with a part-time position if possible. Somebody to kind of help us get our filing up to speed. Filing hadn't been done in a number of years before I got here. So we're kind of backlogged as it relates to filing, etc. So we definitely could use some help as it relates to filing, a part-time person.
I just thought with all the new programs, I didn't know how you were going to handle it with the same number of people. To me, I felt like you would be adding. So, okay.
Well, there's some help though, Ken, with the fact that a lot of the employee contact can be directly with the outsourced services, assuming that actually happens. And so, not that we want to preclude employees if they want to go to Dwight or his people, but I'm hoping that eventually we'll get into a mode where people will feel comfortable working with the external provider. But you brought up a good point and a question that I didn't have given to everybody was, do we have money in the program this year for interns in general? Because in the past, each of us on council, I should have asked this when we were on legislative, each of us on council had, I don't know, several $100s a quarter for sponsoring an intern. And I wasn't in the office that much, so I usually loaned out my intern to someone else. For example, when we were doing research on B&Bs, I gave it to the city manager's office so that we could have an intern come in and help with that. But in the past, we've had both high school and college interns. And I just wondered if we still have a plan to do that. I think it's a good program. I think it's a good thing to have. And it's not a lot of money, but I should have asked the question when we were there.
We can probably locate some funding in what we have for an intern program.
All right. Any other questions?
I think that would be good to help out some of the people that are in school.
Is there a consensus from the body?
Yes.
On that? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, we're going to move out of human resources. And
excuse me, Mayor, just to be clear, we are funding a intern position?
Intern program.
Intern program. Okay.
As a
Can you do a little
council person and the mayor has money for an intern, however they choose to use it. That's one of the things we had before. And I think some of the departments had intern programs too. Like the department director would have an intern program. So I'm voting for the one for mayor and council, but I think it's a good idea. It's not a lot of money. It's a great way to bring new employees into the organization, get people familiar with it. And who knows, when they get their college degree, they might come back and actually work for us.
Ms. Miller, Ms. Fuller, Bradley, can you follow up and see what we've done historically in terms of what we've set aside for an intern program and come back with that information?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions in human resources? Hearing none, we're going to move on to information technology. Mr. Hicks.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Anyone have any questions?
You are reducing? No, I'm sorry.
75,000. I've reduced.
I guess what I like to ask is a question on what was cut, and it shows up on line 5730, which is page 1 of 3 under expenses, and it's digital page 169.
I can't add one one thing. The salary was reduced because a position, which is the GIS position, is being moved back to the engineering department. Just
Got
an
it.
FYI. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
This
Yeah.
is repair and maintenance of data processing equipment. Line 52, 57, 30 is the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It was reduced 32%. It was reduced from 642. What was asked for was 642 and 1,000, and what was provided was 431. So it's about what, 200 and I don't know, 210,000.
Yes, sir. In that particular object code, I had new server upgrade that cost us 450,000 over 5 years. We had to cut that. We also cut the expansion of fiber. We cut some software. Right now, we're at what you see in front of you under 5730 is the bare minimum. The only thing that's new that you see on as the know before, and the know before allows us to push out software to make sure that our people are not clicking on potential viruses.
Oh, we need that.
Yes.
Although that's absolutely essential. There were some things in your program that you talked about closing the fiber somewhere along the line, and I'm having a hard time because I didn't mark the page, but you had some statements about doing the next phase of the fiber loop and connecting several of the rec centers and the fire department and a couple of the firehouses.
Yes, sir. That got cut.
And that got cut, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Is there an opportunity for us to seek outside sources for that? Grants?
Madam Mayor, I have a recommendation.
I'm listening, Mr. Hicks.
The 2.3 million that we're going to get from the CARES Act funding, some of that could be used for fiber expansion.
Yes, it can, because it can be used for infrastructure, I believe.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that type of infrastructure qualifies or not, but I know we can use it for sewer and such. But it can also use, there's a lot of uses for it. Ms. Fuller-Bradley, I meant to ask you earlier, the 1.3 that you budgeted in the general fund for it, where's the other 1 million that we're expecting within the next 60 days?
I didn't budget it. That's just it's not budgeted. So that's something you do have available.
Oh.
Like that.
Well, one thing that strikes me with the fiber Michael, isn't there an offset with that? In other words, if we close the loop with that fiber or do that phase of the fiber, can we eliminate some of the windstream costs, or is it not complete enough to do that?
No, sir, we can. We can eliminate a lot of the windstream costs that we pay in per location, because we will have our own fiber in place and we can pull whatever carrier we want.
Can we get an out? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. As to the savings, if we were to
yes
have that expense.
As I recall, we pay a pretty penny for windstream service.
Yes, for all 8 locations. Any other questions?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hicks. We're going to move forward to... That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the rest of our evenings.
Yes, we made it through the first.
Does anyone have any other questions that we have not addressed this evening on any of these departments before we adjourn?
No further questions, but I have a thank you. I'd like to thank Ms. Bradley and her group of people. They've done an excellent job with the numbers that we're working with this year, and the crisis that's been going on, and the changing of the different budgets, and I just think y'all have done an excellent job with this budget. I appreciate it very much.
Councilman Gay?
Yes, I had a question. She mentioned that she had not budgeted some of the CARES Act money, $1 million. Will mayor and council have an opportunity to discuss the uses of those?
What I'll let the city manager speak on that, because what we can do is put together how we intend to use the funds, and the mayor and council can basically make a decision on how they would like the funds utilized.
Right.
Okay, before she answers, I'm saying, do mayor and council have an opportunity to add to that wish list? Or do we
You
just
will.
take y'all's rep?
You
Okay.
will. You will.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a request. I'd like to have a copy, ideally an electronic copy, of the slides that Althea presented.
Yes,
Because
I
they
will send
are
them.
different from
They are.
what was in our packet.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'd also like to say, and I already said this, I guess, in my response to Mercedes and Althea, that I think this was the clearest budget presentation that I can remember having at budget time on council. And I've been here 13 years now. So I think you guys did an outstanding job of presenting the material, putting it together, avoiding crazy errors. And you can say, well, that's just part of the job, but especially this year with all the difficulty that you've had. So my issues are not with the way you put the budget together or the way it's presented. I think it's excellent. Mine are philosophical from the standpoint of my perception of where I thought we were when we came in, and the fact that we're not running at full staff. And for those who are watching out in, as I like to say, TV land, we are not running with a full police department, and we are not running out, filling out that police department on day one of fiscal 2022.
Any other comments or questions?
I would like to make I'm sorry, go ahead.
Councilman Taylor?
No, I'm trying to figure out, we talked about the bonuses and the raises, so to speak. Are we gonna go back and see which one we're gonna do or we're not gonna do? And with the art chart, like when we going down to list all the employees that's in certain departments, are these art charts accurate, or do we need to know? Because I want to know exactly how many people that we budgeting for that's pretty much not on the art chart. You know what I mean? That's not actually physically hired.
I can provide you with a list of employees by department, or positions by department that are frozen. So basically, I'll show you the total number in the department, and then I'll show how many of the positions are frozen.
And don't forget that build back chart.
The build back chart, which
Showing
pretty much means what the overall budget would be.
When we're expecting to actually fill those positions.
Yeah, once we fill all the positions, what that overall cost would be.
Right.
And when we expect that to occur.
Okay.
And Councilman Taylor, we will come back at the very end. Ms. Floyd Bradley and I will come back at the very end to go over those requests again.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Wait, I would like to thank Clachette Davis. She played a big part in putting this budget together. So she's on the line, and she'll be on the line for every meeting. So just wanted to recognize her.
Thanks, Sophia.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for your patience.
All right. Have a good evening, everybody. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, James, are we good?